enjoying this content, hit that subscribe button. Join us. Woe is me. It's ComicArtistProSecrets, and I'm Ethan Van Sciver, 26-year prisoner of the comic book industry, world's most charming and disarming, elegant and eloquent, humble because, alas, I fumble. Man, great big Star Wars fan and trusted member of the media, and this might be one of those times, my friends, when I have fumbled. Now, a lot of you are whipping me like a rented mule over yesterday morning's video in which I reviewed the Mandalorian episode 4. I said, I don't know, guys. I intoned solemnly and gravely. This might be the entry point of the SJW parasite to our beloved Star Wars TV show, streaming show on the Disney Plus platform. And you guys said, not in so many words, shut the fuck up, Ethan. I edited out the curse word. You're wrong and a dummy, and you're paranoid, and you're seeing SJWs under your bed and in the closet and in the shadows, and you should know better. This was a brave, powerful, strong woman. What is it, Ethan? You can't handle women in your Star Wars stuff unless they're making you sandwiches? Is that the problem? You sexist, man-child bastard. Now, first I went, oh my God. Oh my God, my own subscriber base is attacking me. I can't believe it. And then I went, wait a second, do they have a point? And then I thought about it and said, yeah, maybe they do. Maybe they're right. But let me present a different theory. To wit, I am right and you are wrong. Let me present this idea to you. Sure, Gina Carano is incredible. She is Wonder Woman. She is a Xena warrior princess. And maybe she did belong in this show as an important new character. Certainly, a lot of you have advised me that, look, yeah, the Mandalorian was looking for her, and she jumped out of the trees at him, and she got the drop on him. So yeah, she was able to fight him to a standstill. And I answered that by saying, but this is a man who behaved like Batman and beat 10 stormtroopers single-handedly while rescuing Baby Yoda, fighting off a whole bunch of bounty hunters until the Mandalorians came down to give him rescue, and he kind of was able to exfil from the whole site. And then, all of a sudden, he shot some dude in the chest, but he had, okay. All right, you see what I'm saying? I'm saying he's a competent man. And you guys say, yes, Ethan, but he also got his ass kicked by a tribe of Jawas. And I say, fair enough, that's true. The Jawas put him on his back, flat on his back in the desert. They embarrassed him in front of Baby Yoda, and that's hard to say. It's hard to understand. It's hard to cope with. It's hard to rationalize. I will also say, though, that to further compound my argument, what was the 3 episodes worth of building up about how strong and coveted the Beskar armor was, and suddenly it's like little protection against the fists of Cara Dune? That is kind of odd. I mean, obviously it should have broken her little hands. Well, maybe they're not little. I don't know. Little compared to mine. Little hands into pieces when she punched him over and over again. It should have had some kind of... No, that's fine. She's woman. She's strong. Now, I will also say this, okay? In counter to everything, just as a blanket statement, okay? I want to say to you, do not trust Disney. Do not trust Lucasfilm. Do not trust Star Wars. Now, I trust, to a certain degree, Jon Favreau. He ain't never done me no wrong. I trust, to a lesser degree, Dave Filoni. He seems to know his Star Wars, even though... when I saw him on stage at Star Wars Celebration talking about Star Wars, the stage setup looked very, very odd to me. It was all pinks and purples, and it was really, really strange. Like a strange color scheme for Star Wars. Him sitting there being interviewed by 2 women. It was a little odd. It was a little weird. It was a little wacky. A little far out for my taste. Cowboy Dave Filoni. So I trust them. I do not trust executive producer Kathleen Kennedy, and I know for a fact that the way SJWs operate is that they wait for something to be very, very successful. They wait for it to actually work before they infiltrate it, before they change it, before they destroy it. Okay? Look at the MCU. They waited for a long time before they implemented Captain Marvel. They waited for all of the classic characters that everyone loves to hook all the fans, and then boom, that's when they hit you with Brie Larson. And you weren't expecting the right hook of Brie Larson. You weren't expecting the left hook. Jason Blumhouse's Blumhouse Studios he wasn't hiring enough women. There weren't enough women on his staff, not enough feminists, not enough SJWs, as he turned pennies into millions and millions of dollars in the Paranormal Activity franchise. You know, once it was successful, that's when they look at you, that's when they move in, and that's when they try to change things. So as we look at Mandalorian episode 4, and we start to see little hints of things, little hints of things. Hey, who here knows how to use a gun? The men of the village all look at each other like Monty Python extras, and then who raises their hand? Oh, the divorcee. No, the widow. I don't think she was divorced. I think she was widowed. I know how to use a gun a little bit. What do you know? She's an expert markswoman as she ping, 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 hits the same spot on the pot multiple times, 25 times. In the meantime, the men of the village are all shooting each other's wieners off. And that on accident. And that is what I'm talking about. Little bits of stuff like that. Expect more of it if you don't answer for it right now. If you don't actually stand up and say, hey, knock that off, you can expect more of it. Now, my video. Not only did it attract the ire of you guys, who I usually expect to be on my side. I usually expect you guys are going to have my back, but it also attracted the notice of Twitter SJWs. Jesse Coffey says, editorial, smear merchant pro secrets, praise hashtag the Mandalorian. Every time no one of the opposite sex gets involved with it. Well, I gotta agree a little bit. And goes on to write the most devastating thread, demonizing me as a monster. Let's find out what Jesse Coffey has to say here. This just came out. Another day, another fandom menace type wreaking havoc on the Star Wars fan base. Oh no, I didn't mean to wreak havoc. I didn't mean to wreak havoc by having opinions and expressing them on YouTube. How will everyone recover from the damage that I've done here on Comic Artist Pro Secrets? I haven't put myself in that fan base. Oh, so you don't care. You're not really a Star Wars fan. But Ethan Van Sciver, usernamed Comic Artist Pro Secrets, came to my attention because of users who brought up a completely sexist video, which I'll get to later. I had to like that. I had to hit the heart on that one. It meant a lot to me. Of course, like all similar members of the Fandom Menace, there are no similar members of the Fandom Menace to me. I am unique. I am a four-leaf clover, and at the same time, I am a star that shines in the sky. There are very few people who are anything like me, and you should be grateful. His channel is loaded with ad hominem attacks on Kathleen Kennedy. That's what people tune in for. J.J. Abrams. You mean the J.J. Abrams. Zing. Bob Iger. Well, not so much. Bob Iger just gets mildly criticized. I mean, this is a powerful man. I admire him to a certain degree. Ryan Johnson. That guy is a fucking idiot and a clown. And, of course, I make fun of him all the time. The guy's head is a perfect circle, and he made the worst Star Wars film ever. And he's an a-hole on Twitter. All of these things combined make him a source rife for mockery from Comic Artist Pro Secrets. Your brain cells, women who aren't named Carrie Fisher or Princess Leia. Well, I like Carrie Fisher and I like Princess Leia. And, well, you get the general idea. He seems particularly... I had to like that one, too. I hit like on that. I want to be supportive of these... tirades on me. He seems particularly to be a fan of a recent television show spawned by the franchise The Mandalorian. I should read that differently. He seems particularly to be a fan of a recent television show spawned by the franchise The Mandalorian. He likes the first 3 episodes because they have neither women nor Kathleen Kennedy. You liar. They do have Kathleen Kennedy in them. She executive produced, I believe, the whole series. Her presence is known, but it's sublimated because Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, 2 heroes, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid of The Mandalorian, they're running the show. It's perfect. It's the same situation as when Kathleen Kennedy was working for George Lucas and Steven Spielberg. She's getting them coffee, and that's how it should be. All right, so they don't have women or Kathleen Kennedy. Here are some beautiful... I have some really, really good thumbnails lately. I got to give it to myself. His other videos on the show, as a result, have victorious-sounding titles and descriptions and possibly even content which appears to be regurgitated from the 1934 Three Stooges short Women Haters. I gotta watch that. I haven't seen that one, but good for you for watching the Stooges. I put in bars above the black text to emphasize this particular point. Let me see here. We got SJWs hate the Mandalorian. Another goofy. I think this was an article written by a weirdo about the Mandalorian, and it was taken. By the way, I had to answer this because it was a personal attack on me. I needed to answer this with this video. It was very important. Star Wars NPC journalists threaten to. I don't know what that is, but there are a lot of screaming women here, and it says, "You mad?" And then here, ma'am, you don't have to wreck Star Wars. Leave it like you found it. That is awesome. Great video. And then this one here, the fandom menace always wins. The Mandalorian is ours. Turns out that that's ironic. I don't know if I can still say that. Oh, and SJWs are laughing so hard about this video here. They're like, you thought it was yours, did you? You thought it was yours? Well, we take what we want, don't we? Don't forget who makes the Mandalorian. It's the mouse, and he's firmly in our weird soy-based corner. Now, they're absolutely right. I never should have been this cocky about this, but you guys are still cocky about it. You guys are still saying, Ethan, you're imagining the SJWs. Gina Carano's awesome. Don't jump ahead of yourself here. Don't overreact. Okay, I don't mean to overreact. I just really like this show, and I smell the stench of social justice warriors, and you're going to have to understand that. I'm a social justice warrior hound, all right? All right, so again, I had to like that one because I really like my own thumbnails. Keeping the chronological order of these sorts of videos intact in this thread, the very moment that a female character crept into the Disney Plus series, he attacked the episode this happens in. And it just so happens that it's only the 4th episode of the show. I know, it's painful. It's absolutely painful. And it's, I think there were women, there were female characters in the other episodes of the show, so stop lying. The armorer was a woman, and she was awesome, and she was rad. And I had no issue with her. I had no beef with her. I thought she was very, very cool. So let's not lie about this. Still, I will also hit like on that. The thumbnails seem to be using the same photos of women screaming at the top of their lungs. I am completely surprised that, unlike most of the alt-right... Okay, hold on a second now. I am not alt-right by any stretch of the imagination. I am just a regular milquetoast Republican. The alt-right actually thinks that I am a cuck. They say you are a Republican cuck because you're not fully involved in all of this alt-right stuff. They want me to be harder to the right than I actually am. Just regular kind of JFK Republican, okay? Even though he was a Democrat, JFK would be a Republican today. Those are my politics. I don't believe in ethno-states. I have no problem with gay rights. I don't believe in racism. I don't believe in any of that stuff. I just don't like SJWs. That's all it is. I don't think that's an alt-right thing. The alt-right also usually says, shut up about the SJWs. They're not the real problem. To me, they are. They are the real problem. Okay, he hasn't yet latched onto that photo of Greta Thunberg saying, "How dare you?" at the UN. That would have been inevitable. Everybody else has done it. I don't know if I need to do the "how dare you" thing. Everyone else already has it. I mean, thanks for the invitation. I might use it eventually, but I just feel like it's a meme that's kind of. I find her thoroughly disgusting. Understand? I look at Greta and I instantly take. I instantly have a nauseous reaction to her. She makes me physically ill. There's something wrong with her. I don't understand her. I think she's a fake human being. But everybody else is handling it. They got that. I got to do stuff like this. I got to have women screaming at the top of their lungs. I got to have this goofy person here whenever I can. Use her head. It's funny. And there you go. Oh, here's the video in question that you guys are upset with me about. Mandalorian gets woke. I should have put a question mark there. I think that would have been better maybe, but even still. Okay, she goes, "It's amazing to see, at very near the beginning of 2020, it's the 20s, guys. When are you going to get with it? It's current year. Videos by guys who are uniformly and unabashedly sexist regarding any female who is very strong and very powerful." Okay. Ethan Van Sciver is the kind of guy who would have hated Frozen 2 and the Charlie's Angels reboot at the same time. I am the kind of guy who is a guy, therefore I will not go see Frozen 2 or Charlie's Angels. They weren't made for me. I take you guys at your word when you wacko feminists talk about how something isn't made for everyone. It's not made for you. So don't complain about it. These weren't made for me. I have no complaint about them. These were made. Mandalorian was made for me. That was made for me. I want it to be for me. It wasn't made for you. I don't think. Maybe it was. Maybe, if you're into it, if you're into that kind of thing. All right. Then again, I don't suppose I can get too surprised at the content of his videos. According to Wikipedia, always trust Wikipedia, he was the central figure, is a central figure in the Comicsgate movement, which was known for inciting violence towards others, and in particular for vandalism. No, vandalism and violence were inflicted on us. This is actually shocking. Vandalism was inflicted on me personally. When I went to appear at Gotham City Pizza, I was threatened. My life was threatened. I showed up there anyway, and I did my appearance. I drew Batman on the wall. I made a lot of people happy. The pizza store was thrilled. And then when I left that night, SJW vandals, terrorists, threw a cinder block through the glass front door. It's a famous story. It was clearly vandalism. It wasn't a robbery. Nothing was taken. Nobody entered the store. There was no alarm that went off. It was just SJW sending a message that, when we say we're going to kill you for showing up somewhere, we mean it, and you should take it seriously. So this is a shocking allegation. Comic skaters don't believe in vandalism. We don't believe in inciting violence towards anyone. We believe in just putting out great comic books that counter the SJW mainstream. Books like Cyberfrog Blood Honey, which is now very, very close to reaching a threshold of $1 million. So thank you guys for that. The fandom menace has really lived up to its name. It is a menace to women, to non-whites, and especially to any form of common decency. Well, I gotta tell you, I've got bad news for you. There are a lot of women in the fandom menace. A lot of non-whites, a lot of people of color, I would say, are in the fandom menace. Many of them have YouTube channels and actually actively produce content. They're not just fans. They're not just people who believe it firmly. They're actually activists who are taking a stand against social justice warriors, ruining their entertainment because, these SJWs wrongfully believe, arrogantly believe that they are speaking for quote-unquote marginalized people. These people don't want to be considered marginalized. They want to be respected, and they want decent entertainment sent their way. That's what the fandom menace is. You SJWs, keep out of it with your patronization, your condescension. We don't need you here. We don't need you here ruining everything. It is basically a machine which has jumped out of some of the most depressing things to have ever had the tangible connection to Star Wars. You might be overreacting there. And furthermore, you just said you're not a fan of Star Wars. At the very beginning of this, you said you didn't count yourself as a fan. So your opinion, thusly, about what's good for Star Wars and what's bad for Star Wars just doesn't matter. We've got a book about the fandom menace, which I think I'm going to read. I'm looking forward to that. After sitting through the material coming out of the fandom menace, you will start to picture a group of people despondently holding their heads and looking for that bottle of Dramamine that they just bought just so they can get over having anything to do with that garbage. Some of the videos could be better. Mine are always aces, even when I'm wrong, even when we disagree. Still, I try to produce the best content I can for you guys. This is the thing. We're fighting for something that's good. Ultimately, we're fighting for no weird politics destroying things that were created by people other than the people who are destroying them. George Lucas started Star Wars. His brand of politics was stand up against fascism. It wasn't about marginalized people. It wasn't about an oppression hierarchy. It wasn't about any of those things. It was just about, standing up and fighting when the government is wrong. And God bless George Lucas. He's a legend and a wonderful man. These SJWs who took from him what he created and are currently squatting all over it and ruining it with their own personal axes to grind, their own political axes to grind, need to be opposed, Jesse Coffee. And that's what we do. That's what we do here on the Phantom Menace. I want to thank you guys for watching this video. F these people who don't understand criticism of Star Wars and cannot broach or tolerate any criticism of Star Wars. This person actually considers me to be wreaking havoc on the Star Wars fan base. That is crazy. When am I going to stop? I come in like a wrecking ball. It's unbelievable. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. If you're still mad at me, let me know that as well. Or what do you think of this whole thing about, the Fandom Menace, or whatever you want to say. I read all comments, and even when it breaks my heart. Please subscribe, like this video, share this video, and, what are we going to do? We'll just keep it going. Thanks, everyone. See you later with another video. Hey, I got a P.O. box. Want to send me some mail? Send it to Ethan Van Sciver, P.O. Box 607, Marlton, New Jersey, 08053. And I'll probably open it up on the live stream. Thanks very much, everyone. Hey, you want to follow me on Twitter? Are you sure? Well, if so, I'm at Ethan Van Sciver. That's at Ethan Van Sciver. See you there.